What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Hope your day is going as good as possible. And if it isn't, there's always room to be encouraged for tomorrow. Count it all joy, as the scripture says. And remember, God loves you like he loves Jesus. Got a good one for you this week, so get your ears ready to receive what God has for you. Welcome to AMPM. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another podcast, another discussion with the one and only Lamarcus Caradine. It's a real special for you guys. I know you guys enjoyed last episode. Just whatever you do, if you're driving, just sit down and give God a second. That's all you got to do. Maybe this goes an hour. Give God an hour. You can do that. We were really enlightened with Bria's message, her story, her future. And I just want to bring people on that have that kind of mentality. Let God do the doing. Let God do the doing in your life. And Lamarcus is a friend of mine, a brother. I met him through football, but I know this dude has more than just football in his life, just like me. But I don't know what else to say besides this dude is the most resilient dude I've ever met. Happy spirit. He's been through a lot. He's going through a lot. But the good thing is he's going through it. And to get through something, you got to go through it. So none other than Lamarcus Caradine. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? It's nice to be on this. It's nice to be on this show. I appreciate you and thank you for letting me even come on, man. I'm blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good to see you. We just saw each other in Houston not too long ago, but it's good to see you again, smiling and all that kind of stuff. But just talk to everybody about, how we met. I want you to tell it. How did we meet?
So we actually met in the FCL Fan Control Football League. So my first time ever meeting him, I looked him up and down. I'm gonna be very honest. I looked him up and down, and I was like, okay, we gonna see how he is, and we're gonna see like how good of an athlete he is. Because when I
Mm-hmm.
first met him, I sat and talked to him for a little bit, and I was like, okay, really, really good dude, really, really kind-hearted dude. You can tell he was real genuine what he said,
Appreciate that.
and everything. And so I was like, okay, now it's time to see if he can ball though.
Yeah, right,
So
right,
I
right.
was like, I said, let me watch him a little bit. Let me really take back the time to sit back and watch him. So we go into the first practice. I see you. You make a couple moves. I'm like, okay, okay. He got a little bit of wiggle to him.
Yeah, tell him, tell
I
him,
like
tell
it.
him.
I like it. I like it. So then I watch him. I watch him like the next day come out there and do it again, making catches, going over top of people's heads. I'm like, okay, okay. He not
It's
only
legit.
is
It's
a great.
legit.
Yeah. I was like, he's not only just a good person, but a great athlete too. So, we sat down, we got to know each other a little bit better, and needless to say, like we ended up becoming real, real good friends. Basically, like we brothers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We done been through a lot. We've been through the whole FCF ringer, and bruh, I love this dude like he my brother, and I appreciate him for even letting me come on.
Likewise, bro, and it's good to hear you say that because I kind of sized you up at first too. But the first like my first glimpse of you on that field, you weren't even doing nothing about football. Guess what you was doing? You was
What I
dancing.
was
You was
doing.
dancing, bro. This dude was dancing in the middle of camp. Camp is like anybody know football camp. It's like hell. You trying not to get cut basically the whole time. And I look over, this dude is dancing. I'm like, ain't no way, bro, dancing. He can't be taking it serious. Same thing. I watched him actually play. I'm like, oh, this dude got some speed. He caught the ball over a couple of DBs. I'm like, okay, he can actually play. But then he went back to dancing. I'm like, what is this? Like, who is this guy? I'm like, what is this? But nah, you have so much confidence in what you do, and I now know that why you can dance is because you're confident in who you are. And it takes a lot to get confident. A lot of people know that. It takes a lot of trial. It takes a lot of knowing yourself to be confident in what you're doing. But looking over the few years that we've known each other, I know that that's why it is. But um, other than that, off the field in the cafeteria, like you said, on the hotels, like you took a picture with my girl's mom and stuff, and like this dude is actually another good, a genuine dude. And I think that more than football, that's why we bonded because a lot of dudes can play football. Not a lot of dudes can be good humans. It's hard to balance that because football is like rah rah rah, gritty gritty gritty. Not the dance, but like the mentality. But no, it's amazing to see that another black man like myself can play football and be a good person. So it was refreshing. and I really know
It
that that's
it
why we
really
hit
was.
it off.
It
Yeah,
really was. It really was.
absolutely. And how did you like? I mean, you were there a year before me at FCF, especially during the COVID year, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how did you like both seasons compared to each other?
I'm gonna be honest. The first season was fun. It was really fun. That was my first time ever playing professional football. So like me
Mm.
getting that first chance, you can. I'm gonna be honest. The first camp that I went to, I was real like serious,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
serious. And I was like, I said, okay, Marcus, you got it. You got a chip on your shoulder. You need to go out here and prove it. You need to go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. The first day, nervous. I was so nervous. I went in like when it clicked on everybody's group me. I'm gonna tell you
Mm-hmm.
exactly what when it clicked on everybody's group me profile picture, and I saw Cavante Turpin. I would be honest. When I saw when I saw his picture, I called my mama. I was like, "Hey, mom, I'm out here playing with Cavante Turpin. He played at TCU. Um, I'm finna have to give it all I got. I'm finna have to go. I'm finna have to go crazy because like
Like
I'm
they for real over there.
exactly. I'm real nervous. I'm like, man, because from going from a D3 school, I don't know how I size myself up against a D1
Mm-hmm.
dude. Like I could feel all I could feel. I felt like I was good enough, but
Right,
I
right.
wanted to be on the field and show that I was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first season was very nerve wracking for me. Went through a whole lot of trials and a whole lot of things just in general, and just bro, just enjoyed the whole process. But ended
Were
up
you kind
getting.
of shocked by how like many celebrities were a part of that? Like Johnny Manziel. I mean, you
I'm
talking
gonna
about
be honest.
D1, but you got NFL people playing with us.
Yes, yes,
How
and
did
I'm
that
gonna
like
be
shock
honest.
you?
When I first met Johnny, or when I first saw him come, I was like, I thought they was joking. I was like, okay, he didn't show up like the first week of camp. I was like, he ain't coming. I was like, they
Mm.
just talking. He messes around and he messes around and shows up, and I'm just like, oh. I'm
Like
like,
ain't
bro,
no
we got
way.
NFL dudes out here. Yeah, and then after that, that's when I started hearing other people speak to him, and I'm like, how you know Johnny? It was like, oh, I
Right.
played in the NFL for this month. You played in the NFL for how many years? I was just like, how? I'm like,
Start researching.
I'm, yeah. I started looking people up. I was like, bro, I just got out of college. Y'all done played in the league. Like this is
Bruh.
crazy.
Yeah, that is
So
not
it
like
was.
this last season like I was trying because I don't get starstruck from people. I don't get starstruck, but I do respect people and where they've been at. You know, we got the Hall of Famer T.O. on my team, my teammate lining up next to me, asking me what his route is on this play. Bro, do you know how humbling, exciting, nervous that made me every single practice? I'm like, I gotta be on time. I gotta,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
everything.
It's like an interview. I'm like, this dude might tell somebody that I'm good. Like I'm, like it's so many emotions that come with that. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of people overlooked FCF that first season. You didn't obviously because you tried out, you went. You came back a
Hmm.
second season because it was so good, and now we had actual fans there. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people overlooked FCF and what it could do for you, not just football, because obviously that's sky's the limit with football, but we had people like influencers there. Um, some of the celebrities that were coming to support the game in general. We had opportunities with NBCLX, like ourselves as
Hmm.
the athletes, with our own
Hmm.
entrepreneur stuff. We can introduce it to them. We shaking hands with millionaires. It's like, bro, this is like a little hub for whatever you can want to do. Like it's,
And
we
that's
talking about
what.
sky's the
And that's
limit.
Exactly. And that's what I like to tell people because I had a friend that asked me the other day. He was just like, he said, bro, you enjoyed FCF? And I was like, bro, I enjoyed it. He was like, so you like the football part and everything that was going on?
Mm,
I was like, I love the football part, but outside of that, bro, like they let you be yourself. Like they
yes.
let you be who you was trying to be. Like they let you see other avenues that you could
Hmm.
explore. They let you see other things that you could do outside of just football. Because football could have been it was a platform basically for you
Right.
to showcase whatever talent you have other than just playing football. Like
Exactly.
we all knew we could play the sport. We was there for a reason. But it
Hmm.
was what we could do outside the sport for me. Like it
Yeah.
was I would sit back every day and honestly I got to watching you a little bit more even after I knew you was a good athlete. Bro,
Hmm.
like you was talking about film and you was talking about like being behind the camera just doing those things and it
Right.
got me really excited because I got to sit back and see how excited like you were about it.
Hmm.
You was really like you know you can tell energies you
Right.
was really like into what you was trying to do, bro. And that like that I don't know how to describe it, bro. I get
No,
really excited
I
talking
definitely
about it,
feel that. I
but
feel this
but
like
that gives me like joy.
all my life, well, my life with football, I've been wanting to do this film and photography and writing and directing all that kind of. I wanted to be doing all this, but football like literally had my life like in a clinch, and I had
Hmm.
no time for anything else because I was just like, okay, football gonna get me to college. Once I got to college, I was like, okay, football gonna get me to NFL. It wasn't no other avenues for me, and I didn't even take no film classes in college or high school. I was just dibbling dabbling freelance here and there, but FCF is ironic. It's crazy. I'm thinking about it now. FCF brought me to that point where I was like, you can do both. They were asking me to do this, like a podcast like this. They were asking me to do. Once I brought it up in that entrepreneur thing, I think you were
Hmm.
there.
Yep.
They were asking me if I could do it before the games. Like I won't say all I had planned, but I don't want anybody else to know it because I want to
Yeah.
keep it for myself. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was something. It
Understand.
was something to do with a podcast and athletes and stuff like that. But they asked me if I can do it before the game. I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. Like, why
No
not?
facts.
But never in my life has it been presented to me while I'm playing football, and it was
Hmm.
interesting. And I mean, I want you to know that was the same story for you. And again, it's like a mirror of lifestyles. You have so much on your table now, and I want you to tell the people what Doctor C even means. Why do people call you Doctor C?
Well, Dr. C first came up because I'm actually in chiropractic school outside of just playing football. And
Mm,
like I said, FCF was so like they were so good with it. Like they let me be who I was. So I'm in chiropractic school. I'm getting my doctorate in chiropractic. I'm also getting my master's in health and science as well
mm-hmm.
while I'm doing chiropractic. And so it's bro, it's been a blessing and it's been a grind. It's been like I've had a whole lot of things I had to go through, but
mm,
at the end of the day, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying every single bit of this because
mm-hmm.
I'm getting to meet people like you. I'm getting to meet people in school. I'm getting to really I love seeing people happy. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
love
yeah.
seeing people happy. So I get to encourage people. I get to make people happy. I get to make people feel better about themselves. Get to do things with their kids. It's just
Mm,
right now that's getting me all really round up because I just
yeah.
love it.
Exactly. You giving back. Like I've heard the saying before and it resonated with me so much. It said, your purpose is not just for you. Your purpose is for the world. And I was like, wow, I've been going about this the wrong way. I'm thinking, gimme, gimme, gimme. I never thought to think I can be giving it to somebody else. And so with film and all this kind of stuff and this platform right here itself, I'm like, I want to reach the world while giving other people the same platform that I got. And that's what I think, in my own head, I think that's what our success stories are supposed to be. It's supposed to be another ladder for the other person. It's not supposed to be just us alone. Once they say you get to the top, you get lonely. That's only selfish people. I don't believe that's true. I believe once you get to the top, you can now see where everybody is and help them where they are. So it's
Hmm.
a different perspective you get on life when you get to the top. That's what I want to change the narrative of that. And you doing chiropractor, you say you make people feel good. You making them feel good, literally making them feel good like with their actual backs, and making them feel good like emotionally. Like making them feel good in their spirit. Like, ooh, wow, Marcus Caradine, that's a good dude I just met.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. I ain't even gonna lie, man. It's just like I said, it's been a blessing, and meeting you was like one of the better things that happened to me while I was at LCF because
mm,
I got to be around somebody with the same type of like spirit as me. Like
hmm.
it was like you said, it was like looking at a mirror.
Right, right, right. And you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot as well, but you've been through a lot. And what started your love for chiropractor in general was something that a lot of people would have just turned to the world and went negative with. You had a back injury in your sophomore year
Hmm.
in football, and
Hmm.
that led you to finding your love for chiropractor in general. And that's a metaphor to life. Like what hit you is what's making you. So talk about that.
Hmm.
Talk about how you felt when it first happened and how you feel now that it's better.
I'm gonna be honest. When
Mm,
it first happened, I tell you what. When I first I injured my lower back,
mm,
and the doctors and stuff like that. Every doctor that I had went to was basically telling me like, "Well, we don't really know what we're gonna be able to do." They kept running me around like back and forth, and then I ended up. My athletic trainer comes up to me and she's just like, "Marcus, like." they you can't redshirt because you done played a couple games, and I'm just like I can't redshirt. I don't get an extra, like I don't get an extra year, so
Right.
I'm I'm out of it, and I'm like, okay, I was like, I'm finna play regardless. I'm finna play. So in my
Uh,
head, I'm like, I can still do it. I can still do it. I got it. I get out there
mhm.
and practice. The first practice, and my back is still hurting. I'm taking Advil, stuff like that. Back hurting like a sun. I
Uh,
go out there, catch a pass. I catch like a slant route over the middle. I try to take off running. All of a
mhm.
sudden, I see linemen catching up to me. I see linemen catching up to me like crazy. I'm like, hold up. I'm thinking I'm
Like
tripping. I'm thinking
like
I'm running the
Monstars
same
done
speed.
got you.
Exactly. And so I'm out there. I like that's when I got the first like dose of reality that Lamarcus, like something's really messing with you, like really
Yes.
bad. So coach sit me out at practice. He was like, "Hey, Marcus, like, he didn't want to break it to me that fast, so he waited.
Mm,
And so we got into the training room, and he was just like, Marcus, like, we may end up starting like this dude named Kendrick at the time. He was a freshman,
mhm.
and so I believed in Kendrick, but
Right, right.
as an athlete, and
It
you
ain't
you
you
want
though.
to play, you want to play. So
Right.
I'm in there just like, Coach, I can do it, I can do it. He's like, Marcus, I just watched you all practice. Like I'm telling you,
Mhm.
it's better for the team for you to sit out. And I'm like, bruh, I'm like, man, it's the end of this year. It's coming up. The junior year is coming up and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Coach, so you telling me that I'm not gonna be able to play for real? And he was just
Like
like,
be for real.
yeah, I'm not. You're not gonna be able to play. And
Mhm.
I'm hurt, bro. At this point, like I'm hurt. I'm sitting back in the athletic training room. I'm just like, I get to the point where I'm like almost crying. Like I get
Mhm.
to that point because they end up telling me they was like, Mark, I don't know how long it's gonna last,
Right.
but it looked like it's gonna be pretty bad. And I'm like, I'm starting to think the worst. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to play my senior year or my junior year. This is
That's
this
your
is
everything.
I'm
Football is your everything. Like,
exactly
yeah.
because like I didn't think of nothing else after. I
Mhm.
didn't like you said. Football had me in a chokehold. Like it
Right.
was like that's all I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And she was like, Marcus, I don't know too much about this chiropractor, but it's a chiropractor of the street, and everybody's been recommending me to him, and I've been cautious, but this is probably like one of your last resorts. Like you like might as well go. So I was
Right.
like, whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. So I ended up going to search up what a chiropractor was because I didn't know.
Man.
So I started looking up YouTube videos, and I'm seeing people I'm hearing noises, and
Right.
hold up. I'm like, hold up. And when I ended up going and looking up and seeing all those people and hearing all the noises, it was crazy. It was crazy.
His
So I
back
was
cracking in there.
everything. So I was like, bro, what did I just get myself into? That's what I'm sitting here just
Right,
thinking.
right.
I'm just like, what did I just get myself into? But then like I would watch the end of the video and everybody would get up, walking, moving. Oh my god, I feel so good. I'm like,
Mm.
I was like, it's no way. They lying. Like, it's
Cap,
no way.
cap.
It's no way. So like I
Impact don't
end
feel like mine do.
exactly. So I ended up getting up and I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went. I get down there. I see this woman sitting beside me. I'm shaking. Like keep in mind,
Mm.
I'm sitting there in the front desk. I'm like, I came here, I'm shaking and stuff like that. I see this woman and she looks at me and she was just like, she was an older woman. She was like, it's gonna be okay, honey. And I'm looking at her and like she's older. I'm like, okay. If she tells me it's gonna be okay,
That's an
I hope,
angel.
yeah, basically. So I go up in there, and the first thing they do, they make sure I'm feeling good. They talk to me. They do X-rays on me, and I'm still nervous the whole way throughout the process. I get
Right.
on the table and I lay down, and every time somebody touched me, I felt like something was gonna happen. So I was nervous.
Mm.
Like he put his hand over me to talk to me, and I was like, you ain't gonna catch me off guard, yo. You ain't gonna catch me off guard. so, so I ended up sitting down and I laid on my stomach, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna put you on your side, and you have a lumbar that's like, which is your lower back. He was like, you have
At the time, you was like, "What's that?
yeah.
I got a
At
lumbar."
the time, yeah, at the time, I was like, just fix me. That's how I was thinking. I was like, just fix me. I mean, so
Right,
he was like, yeah, you have this impinged and this and this, and I'm like, all right, whatever that means. Like, I was like, just
right,
so he was like, get on your side, get on your side, and he started talking to me because he knew it was my first time. He knew it was my first time, so he
yeah.
started talking to me, and then all of a sudden he was like, take a deep breath. I was like, okay, and then he just went for it, bro. All I heard was, I said, bro.
He broke me.
Man, and everything. I get off the table. I'm like, oh, I started jumping. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, I think you just
Right,
hurt me. I think you just hurt me. And he was just like, he said, no, stop. Look what you doing. Look what you doing.
right.
And I'm like, look what I'm doing. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold up. Oh, I feel good. I started cutting in the room and stuff. I was, hey. I was sitting there getting right. and so he was just like, man, oh, how you feel? I said, honestly, I feel better than what I did before I even got injured. Like, this is crazy.
Wow.
And so I was just like, in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm trying to make myself feel good. Like,
Right.
I'm
Placebo.
yeah, placebo. So I was just like, okay. And then later on, I still felt good. I'm like, okay, Marcus, we're gonna go for a run, but we ain't gonna do it today. We're gonna wait because the doc told me, he was like, let it set in, and then like, because you don't want to go out there and do it real quick because your
Oh
body
yeah.
is starting to adjust back to normal. So I said, all right, I'm gonna give it 2 days. I go out there 2 days later and I start running, and I'm like, why do I feel like I'm striding better? Hold up, I'm doing all kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, this is different. So I go back to this dude's
Wow.
office, bro, and I literally asked him straight to his face. I'm like, I don't know what you did, but I want to learn about it. I don't know what you did, but I really, really want to learn about
Mm.
it, because if you can help me, I can help a
Mhm.
bunch of other people. Like, I really want to know. And he ended up telling me about
Man.
this school, actually, Life University. And he was like, I went to school
Mhm.
here. Very, very good program. It's ranked like number one in chiropractic
And it's in Atlanta,
in
right?
Atlanta, Georgia. And so I was
Mhm.
like, I said, okay, and anything that's ranked number one, I want to go to it anyways. I want to be the best. If I'm gonna go
I
for
belong there.
it, exactly. He was like, it's tough. I said, it got to be if it's number one. So,
Oh yeah.
so, but I really
And
enjoyed that, and
I see that as a like sorry to interrupt. I see that as like a testimony to your faith, because I know when it first happened, when that injury first happened, you saw nothing else but negative.
mm-hmm,
And I mean, God talks to us in mysterious ways. We don't understand when He talks to us, but after that, after it happens, after you see the effect that it can have on your life, the positive effect, you're like, I trust this forever.
mm-hmm,
And your chiropractor experience is, I'm not going to say that it's God telling you, because this is me, but I see it as God telling you, I got you.
mm-hmm.
Trust me. Look what you're doing now. That's literally the words of God. If you
Exactly.
trust in Jesus, hey, it's all full circle.
And that's the thing. I sat down and really, really thought about it. It was like maybe like a couple months before I was coming to school here, because I didn't even know if I was gonna get it. I didn't know if I was gonna get accepted or anything like that. Then I
Mm.
got the acceptance letter. So I sat down and really just sat and was just like, this gotta be God. Like, this has to
Right,
be
right, right.
God, because it's no way my first ever injury, like, it's my
Mm.
low back, and we have nobody else that really knows what's going on. I end up going to a chiropractor. He basically fixes me all the way from even way before I even got hurt. And
Right.
like, now I'm going to chiropractic school because I believe in it so much, because God
Mm.
showed me that I could be more than just a football player. He showed me
Exactly.
something that I can really, really find an interest in, and he really
Mm.
put it out there, because I was really questioning what I wanted to do if football didn't work out for me. And
Right.
like, it's like it's like he put it in my face, and he was like, hey, I got you. Like,
Right.
if like if you need help figuring out what you need to do or what you want to do, I'm gonna
Mm.
put something in your way, and I'm gonna let you know.
Oh yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I love football. I really do. But I feel like it's more of a calling for me to just like spread positivity and love people, help people by being like not only just being a chiropractor, but being just a good person. And by me being a
Right.
good person and be a chiropractor, I can spread to a whole lot of people. Like I can spread out to a whole lot of people. Being in the chiropractic field, you see millions of people. So seeing millions of people lets me just pour into them. Lets me
Right,
just
right.
just see them happy. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the message of the gospel itself is like you know how God our good God was to you. You want to tell everybody now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, spreading the good news of the gospel, that's what it's about. It's not about making somebody be a Christian. It's not about that. And I know you had a question. We'll get to all the questions later, but I want to answer that one now. Forcing Christianity upon people. And I have a problem with it too. I talked about it in my first podcast. I'm like, I don't want to force nobody to do this. I hate seeing like the people with the bull horns on the side of the street, like saying you're going to hell, you're going. That don't sound like good news to me. That don't sound
Mm-mm.
like nothing not Jacoby want to join. You
Exactly.
know, the good news should always sound like good news, and it should come from the Bible. It should come from the book, yeah, but it also should come from our experience. Back in the day when people was getting their healing and all this kind of stuff from Jesus himself, which is God on earth, they were just spreading that gospel. They weren't saying you're going to hell if you don't believe in him. They're just like, trust him. Just trust him. Watch what he do to your life. And we can do that now. And I'm doing it now, and I know that the purpose that God has me on right now, the plan that he has for my life, it has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with everybody else. And I'm humble enough to accept it. And a lot of people aren't humble. And that's the problem. A lot of people like think this world revolves around their ideas, their own
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But you can fail on your own, and who are you gonna blame? But God doesn't fail.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just like spreading that version of the gospel with some scripture in it, but some reality in it because only our minds know reality. Our heart knows spirituality. We can talk to God through our heart.
I know you guys are enjoying the show, and I know you guys are really enjoying this whole process. I just want to take out a moment of time to tell you I'm Lamarcus Caradine, and I appreciate you guys just for tuning in. And I just want to tell you guys, if you wanted to tune in and continue to follow my journey, you can follow me on Instagram at @IAM_Marcus, and also on Twitter at @IAM_Marcus, or if you even want to connect on Facebook at Lamarcus Caradine. I'm willing to always talk, and if you need anything, you can always hit me up. Thank you. Now back to the show.
Speaking about heart, I want to talk about relationships. I, as someone that was in FCF with you, we were away from our spouses, and we couldn't see them every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But just like all relationships, especially relationship with God, you trust them away from you. You trust them when you don't see them,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't love her because you trust her. You trust her because you love her.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are allow ourselves to trust God like that, like any relationship should work in unity, it can't fail. It can only prosper. And I'm transferring that now because I wanted you to talk about how much she was with you and how much she means to you.
Well, I'm gonna be real honest. Me and like my girl, just in general, she means the world to me, because at the end of the day, she's been there with me through it all. Like
Mm,
we started actually dating in undergrad my sophomore year, and so like
wow.
it's like I get hurt and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, football is over with, and she's right there, right beside me. She's like, no, it's not, it's not over with.
Mm,
It's not over with until you actually give up. That's when it's over with. And
mm-hmm.
so I'm sitting back, you know, licking my wounds and stuff like that. But guess what? She's right there beside me, encouraging me, picking me up, making sure I was there. And so even then, it was beautiful, and it was very, very great, because like she was, when I'm down, she's picking me up. And the other way
Right.
around, vice versa. If she's down, I'm gonna make sure I'm picking her up, because at the end of the
Right.
day,
Right. Right.
that's what a relationship is, and that's what I feel like. I feel like stages of love like you have to do that in situations, and any situation, just in general, because you want to see your spouse do well. You don't want to be in a
Right.
relationship and neither one of y'all ain't pushing each other to be the best. Like
Mm-hmm.
y'all should be forever pushing each other to be the best, like at any
Exactly.
situation, or being better than what you was yesterday. You may not be the
Mhm.
best at whatever you're doing, but being better than what you was yesterday. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, I really love my girl, and I really, really care about it because she pushes me to be the best. Like,
Right.
no matter what it is, even if I'm not 100% there, she believes it really, really deep, and she makes me believe it.
Right, right, right. And that's important to, our generation is when you found the one, um, you don't feel like you're picking up their slack
Hmm.
and vice versa. You don't feel like they're picking up all your slack. It's an equal and I know people have a lot of um problems with roles, the word roles and gender roles and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, whatever. But if a woman doesn't trust the man she's with, she's not gonna be a woman to him. She's gonna be a companion. She's gonna seem like a teammate, whatever. But if a woman knows that the man that she's with is someone worth trusting, the relationship is that much more beautiful.
Hmm.
And likewise to each other. It's vice versa. It's like it's playing tennis. You can't if when one person drops the ball, the other person gets the point.
Hmm.
That's not how, I don't know. I see my girl is holding me down and the same way you do in FCF, she was my number one fan. And
Hmm.
she was only able to come to one game. She was working and stuff. I'm from California and she can't come to Atlanta
Yeah,
every weekend. I
yeah,
get it.
I
I get
completely
it.
understand.
Yeah, but she's sending me care packages with snacks that she know I loves and sending me notes and calling me, before the game. I'm like, this is who I want to be with, and it's important when your spouse supports you.
It
So,
is. It is. It's
mhm,
it's very important. And that's the whole thing behind it because when your spouse is like there for you, because at the end of the day, you said your girl was able to come to one game. I'm blessed because
mhm.
my girl's only 5 hours away, so she was able to come to like three. She came to like 3 or 4 games. So
uh,
like with you saying what you saying, you had it actually harder than I did. Like my girl, shoot, my girl
bro,
was
I
actually
was
able to
struggling.
come. So it was nice and it was a blessing because every time I saw, I wanted to give it like my all. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah,
different than being on like letting her watch you play on TV compared to being in person, seeing her
yeah, yeah.
reaction, like seeing the smiles on her face. It's the
Hmm.
same thing when my parents came. Like it's
Yeah,
just deep. It hits deeper.
that's love. That's love. Love talks in different languages, and that's why people are. What's your love language? I'm like, sometimes my love language is just be right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
we could sit down and watch a movie for I don't know how long, but as long as you right there, I'm happy.
Exactly, bro. It like I don't have to go out and do all of those extravagant things and all those big things.
Hmm.
As long as I'm with you, man, that's all that matters. As long as I'm with my
Yeah.
girl, bro, that's all that matters. I don't care what we doing. I'm having fun
Right.
regardless. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And then I met her while I was out there too, and I wish my girl was there the same game, but I know that they would hit it off because we're both goofy dudes
yo,
and they're attracted to us. So like, how can this not be?
exactly.
Double date would be easy.
They would have definitely hit it off because, yeah, both of us
Yeah,
have very similar personalities, so I already know.
bruh, easily. And it's going back to your trials and stuff that you've been through, and you said she was right there with you. And sometimes we get to talking to ourselves though, even though our spouses are right there, we get to talking to ourselves negatively.
Hmm.
And it's about trusting the process of a trial. And right at first, we don't understand why. We start to question God, like, why me? I'm a good dude, like you're saying, I'm a good person. Like,
Hmm.
why is this happening to me, God? And I start to compare, looking at all these celebrities and rappers. I'm like, they're living horrible, God. Like, how are they
Yeah,
getting all these
I can
riches?
see it. I can, yes.
But in scripture, it says, if man loves the world over me, he does not love me. And I come to grips with that every time. I'm like, even if I have nothing, God, I love you. Because of where my end story is, it's not this grave on earth, it's in heaven. So that alone brings me joy because I'm like, I get it now. I get life ain't about what you can get while it's there. It's about where you can go after you're done. And I mean, after the storm, there's a moment of clarity, but during the storm, we just getting slapped upside the
No
head
facts. Getting hit from every different direction.
everywhere. It
Taking
bring
them.
it brings the anger out of us. It brings our questions. It brings our, sometimes we talk negatively to our surrounding circle just because we're mad.
Mhm.
But, you know, it's like when we're calm, we can understand. But when we're going through it, we're furious. We have so many questions. And the question that you asked me, because you were going through it during FCF this second season when I was there,
Mhm.
the heavy receiver load that we had, it was like, okay, everybody got to eat, but why ain't I eating? I put in the time. Why am I not eating? And you asked me, how do I deal with my anger? Because I was going through some of the same things, but I didn't look phased, although I was going through fear.
Yeah.
But I didn't look phased because I knew this is my pruning season. I'm going through it right now. I'm going through it for a better reason. I don't understand it, but I trust it. And you asked me how I deal with that, and that I want to answer that now because at first I just told you I see the big picture.
Yeah.
I left it at that. I said I just see the big picture,
Mhm.
and I remembered that. I remembered that about you, that you asked me that. You were humble enough to ask me how I deal with it, and it resonated with me because I was like, nobody really told me how to deal with this. I
Mhm.
didn't go to no therapy. Like God was my counselor forever, and for me to renege him now would be hypocritical of me. So I want to tell you now, whenever I go through, so I went the JUCO route. I was skinny my whole life. I got bullied in middle school. Like everything about my life tells me to stop and quit
Mhm.
because it's not for you. But when I sit and get quiet with myself and with God, I'm like, okay, I trust it. So I that's when I start to get mad and furious at the world and people. I feel like people are laughing at me and doing things just to torment me on purpose. I start to think like this is for a reason. This is going to shape me into something better than what I started.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I wanted to show you the story of Job in the Bible. I have it pulled up here, but Job was a good dude. He was a good man. The Bible says he's blameless, upright. He feared God and shunned evil. So he was doing everything right, basically. He just a perfect Christian. He had a good family. He was wealthy. He owned land. He had livestock. But suddenly, everything was taken from him in a fire. His children, his wealth, his livestock, his health. Even he started to get sick. And Satan thought he'd done a good job getting to get Job to curse God. He thought he would turn his soul into something that hated God instead. Let's read scripture. What happened to Job? Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and fell to the ground and worshipped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job did not sin nor change or no charge God with wrong. So in his rock bottom, he didn't look at God and say, I hate you or you forsaken me. He never said that to God. Never he never let Satan win. He never let evil win.
Mhm.
And a lot of Christians and pastors stay away from this story because it shows the wrath of God really. It shows that sometimes evil will take control on the earth because evil has control of this earth. And that's why when people fall in love with this world, they fall in love with with the evils of it.
Mhm.
But Job knew that. Job had enough wisdom to know that. So he never cursed God. But then it shows his reality. It shows his flesh talking. If you skip down to chapter 10, verse 3, it says, he's talking to God now. He said, does it seem good to you that you should oppress, that you should despise the work of your hands and smile on the counsel of the wicked, although you know that I am not wicked? So this is his flesh talking to God, like any of us really would do. I'm a good person. How am I? What me? I'm on your team, God. Like what the heck? We was boys. This was Job's pruning season. That's why I said earlier, pruning. God prunes us sometimes. And what pruning is sometimes plants, they have dead leaves on them. God, you get them clipped off. That leaf can now extend its branch and grow more than it was before. Sometimes the very top of a leaf of a plant or a rose, it gets pricked, or pruned. That's what you see a lot of gardeners, they cut the top of the rose bush. And people are like, why you do that? You messing up my roses. In due season, next spring, this rose bush is going to be better than what it was.
Mhm.
And pruning in the Bible is God taking away something from us that was holding us back from being better. And like you said, you mentioned with your chiropractor, and I did my homework on this. I wanted to make sure that this resonated with you, and it's resonating with somebody else too. I'm sure with me as well. But when we get to our point of hurt with God, we think that He's not even looking at us. He's like letting us go through this life bad just because. It's all for a reason, and sometimes we don't see it though till we get to our end result. That's where trust comes in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We don't love God because we trust Him. We trust Him because we love Him. And if we fix our relationship to being that with Him and not this church religion stuff that's on this earth, that's the most important relationship you can have, coinciding with your spouse, like you said. Like that's the next thing. God blesses your relationship. And yeah, and I wanted to share that with you because Job. Let me see. Where is it? So Job 42:10. This is where it gets good.
Mhm.
This is chapter 42. So a bunch of stuff. He has a bunch of questions. He goes through it, questioning and all that kind of stuff. But we get to Job's like, what's the good story? What's the good ending of it? What's the fairy tale? It says, and the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends. Job prayed for his friends. In the midst of everything that was going on with him, he had enough sense to pray for somebody else. That's powerful.
That is very powerful.
Like that's not even human to me. I
Yeah.
can't even think of how I could do that. But
That's yeah.
yeah. And have you ever been to a point? I'm a break. Have you been to a point where you were like, I'm gonna help this person even though I'm going through it?
I'm gonna be honest. I have. I'm gonna be honest. I have.
Yeah.
I've sat back a couple of times, especially going through this school and seeing some of the stuff. Hey, just because I'm going through it, don't mean they got to. That's how I be feeling.
Amen. And at that camp we were at in Houston, another injury hit you. You know, you were running your 40, and we couldn't even get to start with the complete camp, and you popped your hamstring. You looked at your back situation. You can see that now how it's doing good for you. Right now, you're up front in the story. You're at the beginning of this story. It's like, well, who do I trust now? So how do you feel right now going forward, knowing that God's got you, that He did it back then, He can do it again?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I feel great. I still have moments in my head, because I'm human. I still have moments in my head that I talk to myself, but I'm telling you, 99% of the time I'm sitting back and I'm just like, everything happens for a reason. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm able to help people. I'm still in school. I'm still able to go out here and do what I need to do. I sit back now and I look at the situation of when I hurt my back, and I think about it like now, like in any situation. I'm like, He had me then. I know He got me now. Like things didn't change. Nothing changed. Like it's just it's a similar situation. It's just a different injury. Like so he had me then. Why else would I not trust Him now?
Exactly.
So
man, that's beautiful. And I wasn't even gonna go to that camp. I was like blowing that camp off. Like I don't feel like going to Houston. But then I thought about it. I was like, I didn't even know who was gonna be there. Also, so I was just like, I'm gonna just go. I was in shape still. I'm like, well, let me just do it. I'm a regret not going.
Yeah.
And had I not gone, not saying that I was the moral of that story, but had I not gone, I would not have been able to share and take you to eat and stuff after that. Like I was there watching that, and I'm sitting on this like behind you. I'm like, God, dang, I was mad for you, bro. And that's why the first opportunity I had after the drill, I went over to you and to the table, just making sure you was good. And because I know you, I know if you was just another dude, I would just he'll be all right, whatever, best of luck. But I know you, and I was over there. I came over like I know Marcus, even though he's smart. I call you Marcus, but Lamarcus. I know Lamarcus over there smiling, but I know he's just battling right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
like, I know.
I had my poker face on though. I was like, yeah.
Exactly. And the enemy, Satan hates that. He hates when we can't let him into our heart. On Impact, you was like ready to cuss everything out, but you got real quiet. I never seen you that quiet. And I was like, man, I started praying in my head, like, God, please just let him, please just let him know that he with him still. Like, you see him. And lo and behold, after that, we went to eat. We went to see the Explorer in downtown of Houston.
I'm
It
be
was
honest.
quiet.
You made my day 10 times better too, and you don't even realize how much that meant to me. We like it, bro. That meant the world to me because I was going. If I would have went back by myself, I'd have been thinking about it the whole time. You really let a lot of stuff go for me. Like when I was with you, like you just your happiness and you showing that you was willing to just be a brother to me. That just that meant the world to me. I was like, I don't care nothing about this injury no more. I mean, I'm literally enjoying this. Like this. I'm really enjoying this.
And if you remember, I hurt my face.
Yes, exactly.
All it is, you can't really see it now, but that was all just scraped up from the turf. And bro, you know who the first person I looked up and saw was? You, bro.
Hey, I was wobbling over there too. I was like, oh God.
First person I look up and see is this dude. And I'm like, and the other Sam was next to us, but I wouldn't really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, oh, it doesn't look that bad. And I felt it. I looked like this on my hand. I'm like, so I looked at you and I was like, Marcus, be honest. I was like, I want to hear none of that. Be honest, bro. And he was like, you're going to have a black eye. But
yeah, for sure. I was like, I got to let him know.
But that made me feel better. I was like, in the midst of this situation, I could probably laugh because Marcus is right here.
No, fact.
And likewise, like you made that feel like a lot better. And had we both not been there, or likewise, that situation could have been so much worse.
It could have been so much worse. I thought about it when I got on the plane back. I was like, this thing could have ended so much worse, like way worse than what I even thought about.
But it's gonna get better.
Yeah, it's gonna get better.
Not physically, it's gonna get better, and in your life, it's gonna get better. And as we continue right here in Job 42:12, it says, "Now the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning." This is in Scripture, and you said this earlier about chiropractor. They healed you better than what you started with. And it says, "For he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys." Job lived to be 140 and saw generations of his children, and I'm sure he ministered to them and shared his story of how he was faithful to God. And you talk about reaching people, like you're saying, with your story, what you can do to help them. That's all it's about. Some of the best therapists are some of the people that have been through the worst of situations. And you would look at a therapist, if they've been rich their whole life, living in the best communities, all this kind of stuff, how can they resonate with somebody that's dealing with suicide, that's dealing with a bad situation, a bad relationship? How can they help me when they've never seen it? So, maybe, just maybe, God is pruning you to be able to do that for somebody and forever somebody's.
Hey, man, that really hit me just now too, just thinking about that, because it's a lot of people just in general that has never been in your situation, never been in your shoes, never been in any, like they done been in some rough patches, but they think their patches is the worst it can get. It can always get worse. And so like I sit back and I think about all the stuff I've been through, and I'm just like, that's when I sit and talk to people and I figure out what they're going through, and I'll be real honest with them. If they done been through some stuff that I've never seen or did in my life, I'd be like, I'm gonna be honest, I've never been through this, but I know God got you. Like that's exactly what I tell them. If I'd have been through it, then I tell them how I got through it. But if I haven't, I'd be completely honest and be like,
oh yeah,
I ain't never been through it. I ain't never been through that.
Get through it together though.
Exactly. Thanks.
And as the people say God got me, and all this kind of stuff, we always see like the end result of it. But God sees us in the midst of our situation. It says he would never leave or forsake us. That means he's always there. He may be on the sideline rooting for you to just trust him, but he's always there. And Another person in the Bible you should probably look up is Nathaniel. Dude named Nathaniel. It's a brief moment in the Bible, but it goes to say in John chapter 1 verse 46. Philip, his I'm gonna just call his friend. Philip, his friend, was talking about this Jesus that everyone's been talking about, and Nathaniel was like, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Because that's where Jesus was. And in verse 46, that's what it says, and it says Philip said to him, "Come and see." I want to know how Philip really said that. He's like, just come and see, bro. Like, come and
Just
see.
come on.
Quit questioning it. Just come see. This dude the real deal. Just come see. And so in verse 47 it says, Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said to him, "Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no deceit." So Jesus already knew who he was, one, because he's God on earth. He knows everybody by name.
Mhm.
Nathanael said to him, "How do you know me?" And Jesus answered to him and said, "Before Philip called you, you were under the fig tree. I saw you." Now it's not this is before he even met Jesus. This is long before that. So he was probably God at this point. The scripture doesn't really say what he was saying under that fig tree, but I'm sure it's something like he popped his hamstring.
Mm.
I'm sure it's something like his back just got in. I'm sure he was probably ready to cuss that God.
Yeah.
Like, you leaving me? Like, this me? Like, I'm sure he was at that moment. And Jesus came to him and said, "I saw you." Nathanael answered to him and said, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And it wasn't until he announced that he saw him that he believed in God at that moment. That very moment, he was like, "Gotta be God.
Mhm.
Nobody else was there under that tree but me. It gotta be you."
Gotta be.
And yeah, it gotta be. And through our situations, through our trials, it says we have to trust him. And in verse 50, it says, Jesus answered to him and said, "Because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Most assuredly, I say to you, hereafter you shall see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." So he says, "I had you then, watch what I do now." And that's all about the gospel itself, trusting in Jesus that he can get you through things that you never saw possible before.
Mhm.
And this story right here is something that hits me, and I know it's hitting you right now because it's like, what's next?
Mhm.
I'm gonna trust you. What's next? And I don't know. It's a beautiful story. This whole book of books. That's what the Bible is, a bunch of book of books. But God sees you in your present. He knows the plan he has for you. He has nothing but prosperity and hope for your future. That's what Jeremiah 29:11 says.
Mhm.
So your future he has in his hands, and it's not anything to do with bad negativity or whatever. He can't reveal it to you, right? He can't say, "This is your future. Do you trust me now?" It's, "Do you trust me right now in the midst of your situation?" Or can you? Are you man enough to?
No, you telling the truth, and if I'm being honest, that's actually the tattoo that I got on my thigh. Jeremiah
Yeah,
29:11. It
that's
really
crazy.
resonated with me, and it's funny because you just said that, and I was just sitting here just thinking, and I was thinking the whole time like, he don't even know that's like right there on my thigh, like you said, that's crazy.
Wow, nothing but God, bro. Okay, now I want to get into some questions that you had for me about maybe about someone else thought about Christianity or what people naturally think about following God and believing. So it's reality. Our flesh has questions, and go ahead and ask me whatever you had to ask me.
So I wanted to ask you I wanted to talk to you about putting trust in God, and like what does that like mean to you? Like what does
Mm.
that necessarily mean to Jacoby? Like,
Yeah, to me, and I'm gonna start off with I don't know everything. I know it's right for me, but trusting God is about believing in his resume. What he's done in the past, he can do it again. And trust and faith work together. You don't have faith in nothing you don't trust. So I trust and believe that the word that God said and all this Bible is real. And these people in the Bible are meant to show off his resume. And I can put myself anywhere in this Bible and say, Jacoby was under the fig tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's no longer Nathaniel. It's I was under the fig tree, because I'm that same person that was asking why, or I'm Job. You know, I got everything taken away from me. I went to JUCO. You know, I can. The list goes on and on. But putting trust in God is putting trust in what He's done in the past, and the book comes alive to you once you trust it. So that's in a short, little compacted answer. That's what I'll give you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I
Of
appreciate you answering
course.
that question.
Yeah.
Another one I really wanted to talk about because you kind of answered it a little bit earlier, and I was talking about like how religion is one of those things that like, do you think it's one of those things that we like choose or growing up, or it's one of those things that like resonated with us like because of our parents in a way? And I
Mm.
was gonna have a follow up question right behind that.
Yeah, yeah. So someone who grew up a pastor's child, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up a PK my whole life. So with that kind of upbringing, I can see how some people are like, you're only a Christian because you brought up in a church. That ain't the case for me. I'm gonna speak for myself because I grew up in the church, yes. Went away from it when I went to college, all that kind of stuff. I was trying to do my life on my own. I was like, I don't really need this, you know what I mean? But it wasn't until God resonated in my life and in my heart when I was on my own and vulnerable to the world. And I found a love for it for myself. And I crawled back, like the prodigal son says, I ran back to God. So it wasn't so much of being nurtured into the church. It was more so I found it on my own. Because although I knew the stories of, Noah's Ark and Jonah and the well, I knew all of that, but I didn't know Jesus through it all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a real relationship until I tried life on my own. Um, and yeah, you had a follow up question. I believe I know where you're going with it, but go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, my follow up question behind it was um, like I've had many discussions like with a couple of my friends about this, and I was like, I figured out like that a lot of people just in general, uh, don't they don't really know what they truly believe, and they basically like, their parents and stuff got them into the church, which I think is a good thing. I got them into believing in God and stuff like that. But once they got past the foundation, it like I don't think the foundation was as stable. Like they didn't continue to
Mm,
kind of learn for themselves. Like they were only learning for their parents and stuff like that. So I wanted to like kind of ask. I don't really know how to ask this question more than I want to. Like
mm,
I'm more so getting around to how do you proceed to figure out or help someone figure out if they actually believe in what they believe, if that makes sense, instead of them
yeah.
basically doing it just because somebody else wanted them to do it.
Yeah. So there's in scripture it says ask and the spirit will reveal itself to you. So um I would say the people that are questioning their own faith, or not even just questioning God, but just faith, like faith in general, like why am I believing in this? I would ask them, where do you think you go after you die? I would ask them that. And are you okay with that living the way you are? Now, if they say that they believe that they can live however and they still go to heaven, then you got a different conversation. But I believe that if someone has questions about God and questions about this, first read the Bible. All your answers are in there. If you don't understand it, ask for understanding, pray about it, and really let Jesus in your heart. Really live for Jesus and see how much your life changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much of you don't see anything revealed to you until you die. That's not what Christianity is. It's a relationship the whole way. There's some ways God has talked to me that didn't even feel like something that happened in the church. Like I was at the beach by myself. There was no wind going, but the waves just started to get bigger and bigger, started to hit my feet more and more. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the heck is going on? Like what is and I had my little journal with me. And at that moment I started to release like I'm not on this earth alone. And God wants me to know that I'm not on this earth alone. And I mean, some people are church hurt. Some people go to church, they see the religious stuff, they see the customs and all the rituals, and they don't believe in that little stuff. But I just want people to believe in a relationship with God that they can have. And that's through Jesus. Jesus came as a son of God, a descendant of God, to give us a way to heaven through him. And I think you would ask me too, while you were texting me, what would I say to the people that believed in other religions and stuff like this? And this is my Jacoby answer. I have no problem with a religion if it teaches you to be a good person. You know,
Yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
kudos to you. You're being a good person. Like, what else can we ask for on this earth? My Christian Jacoby answer, my spiritual answer is there's no other religion besides Christianity that there's a way to heaven through God, through a God. All the other, like Buddhism and all this other kind of stuff, is by good doing of a man, and that can't get you to heaven alone. Like, if you believe in other gods and stuff, you think that they're really communicating with you just as a human,
Mhm.
if that's what you believe. So, and Christianity is the only religion that has God coming to earth, which is Jesus, being born of no sin, dying on the cross for everyone's sins, not just white people, not just black people, not just whoever believes. That's it's forever. The scripture says whosoever, and that's the most inviting gospel that anyone can ever hear. Like, one of the reasons I couldn't be like a Buddhist or something, not knocking them and what they believe in. They worship like an Asian an Asian Buddha. Like that doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how I would feel like a hypocrite following that.
Yeah.
Jesus is not white. Jesus, we can't even find a good picture.
Yeah.
So,
Fact.
but I think that's metaphorical. That is for everybody. Like, Jesus died for everybody, and that's one of the reasons that it's so sweet and that the gospel is so spread, is because heaven looks like a box of crayons. Like, it's not it's not just one race in heaven. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the most true version of someone's love. God so loved the world. That's what scripture says, that he gave his only begotten son. That whosoever, you know what I mean? That's the next part of it. That anybody that believes in it will not die on earth but go to heaven. And that's the kind of conversation I would have with someone who had questions about it, or who were studying another religion and had looking over their shoulders about what's Christianity all about. That's what it's all about. It's about us.
Okay. I appreciate you answering my questions. That's
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
So that's really that was really the main ones I wanted to hit, and I also wanted to ask you, where do you see Jacoby in the next couple of years? Because I know you wanna film, I know you wanna continue to where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
I see myself still trusting in God, but I also see, I envision and I want now more than ever to be a producer, video, all that kind of stuff, director, even story writer, and I want to tell other people's story. And I want to keep it faith based. I want to keep it around Christianity. I have no problem with that. Um, the Passion of the Christ is a movie that um, Mel Gibson put out, and it's about the crucifixion of Jesus, and that hit Hollywood hard. Like, they give him crap for that to this day, because he went by the Bible and how it went, and people were offended by it. And I I don't care who's offended by my love for God. And what I want to do with my production company is revolve it around that, bring reality to spirituality, and allow people to know that a regular dude, football player, 6'5", whatever, person like me can also go hard for God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No matter what I do. So I don't put God on hold while I do my film and photography. I want to bring God into
Bring
my
God
life,
with you.
into my film and photography. So that's where I see myself, and I want to hire other people with like-minded, sense of that. I want my whole team to believe in what I'm believing in, and together we can get production done. It don't always have to be like a Bible story that we're filming. It could be just like regular film, but it's gonna be hints everywhere about like faith and all that kind of stuff for the people that need to be spoon fed the gospel, you know, because not everybody likes to talk about God and stuff because they love this earth so much that
Hmm.
they don't want to change their life to be better and live like Jesus is what we need to be doing. But a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to get rich or die trying. But yeah, that's where I see myself. Where do you see you? What's next for Lamarcus?
I see me. I'm gonna be honest. I like speaking it into existence. I see me being able to influence millions of people because like that is my ultimate goal. I have goals along the way. And like at one point, my ultimate goal was going to the NFL. Didn't even think nothing else about it. I wanted it. I wanted Marcus to go to the NFL. Like I that's what I
Hmm.
wanted. And the older I got, the more I started seeing how happy other people were and how happy it made me. Like I started
Yeah.
seeing the value in trusting God and like trying to do his work and just trying to be the best person I could be for others, not even just for myself. So like I see
Yeah.
myself influencing millions of people, not only just on the chiropractor side, just in life in general. If I can change one person's life, it may end up changing the next person's. They may end up changing
Hmm.
millions of people. I indirectly just help change millions of people's lives. Not even
Facts.
just me. So I want to be, you know, as cliche as it sounds, I want to be that beacon of light for some people. Like I want to help people. I want to see
Hmm.
people smile. I can't stress this enough. I love seeing people happy, bro. It's
And
just so
I
much.
can tell that about you.
Yeah, I appreciate
You literally start dancing just to make somebody happy. And that's one of the first things I noticed about you. Is like this dude is really always smiling or dancing or both.
it. Hey, I try my best. I try my best.
But you know, scripture says, "Let your light so shine, so that someone else basically may see the light in you and ask you a question: Where do you get so happy? How do you get so happy?" And your response can either be, "It's the God in me," or you can just literally show them, "This is why I'm happy." And I feel like that's so much more of a better approach to the non-believer than bashing them on the side with a bullhorn because you want good news to look like good news.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know that there's good news in you. And I know that you want to do good to the people, and you're doing the work of the Lord right now. You're spreading the gospel with a cheerful smile, and I'm proud of you, bro. I really am. And it gives me chills to even bring you on here to talk to you about it because it's dope to see.
I ain't gonna tell a story. I'm proud of you too for even like doing this and even letting me on. Like I really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Likewise. And I'm gonna pray for you as I pray for anyone that comes on here. That's the gist of what we do over here on AMPM, the podcast. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I know you so much that I kind of know what to pray for right now. So just if you're listening, if you're driving, don't bow your head and close your eyes, please. But
Please
if you
don't.
can, just bow your head and close your eyes. Um, Father God, we come to you today in the midst of everything that we're going through, and I just pray for strength for Lamarcus. Strengthen his decision making, strengthen his trust for you. Give him grace to trust you, God. He's been through a lot on this earth, and he knows that you're with him, but it's not until the end when we see why it was what it was. He's in his pruning season. He's like Job. He's like Nathaniel, but his name is Lamarcus, and you know him by name. And let him know that you have him through whatever he has and whatever he desires. You have him. You're holding his hand through all of this. You know the cheer he brings to people and that he works with, that he comes across, even strangers. And God, let him know that you are doing the same thing that you're doing back then to him now. And allow him to trust in that process. The storm doesn't look good right now, God, but just know, let him know that the storm is going to calm. He will have clarity. And just bless his vision for his future. Bless his future class. Bless his tests that he's going through right now, his finals. Just bless his relationship with you, his relationship with his actual girlfriend, soon to be wife, hopefully. But just bless their relationship. And I see how happy his family makes him. I've seen videos of him dancing with his dad, and just let him know that he can dance in the presence of you, Lord. And he's trusting you right now, and allow him to stay trusting you. And anyone listening right now that resonates with the story of Job or the story of Lamarcus even, just know that God has you. God sees you, and His plan for you is not to keep you there. It's to get you to better. And we will see it while we trust Him. We will see it after we trust Him. Whatever we do, we have to trust Him. And any listener out there that's going through the same thing Lamarcus is, or needs a chiropractor, matter of fact, give him customers after this podcast, and allow them to be with someone that they know has their best interests. And Lamarcus Caradine is his name, and reach out to him. And God, we ask all these blessings only in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you, my boy. Thank you.
No problem. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode with my good friend Lamarcus Caradine. Remember to follow him and follow his journey. If you need a chiropractor, even go hit him up. You know what I mean? Atlanta, Georgia based, but I'm sure he'll travel if you pay him right. But if you would love to give, support the channel, support anything that we're doing over here at APM, the podcast, I'll put the cash app right here. I don't ask for much. I don't even ask for anything. But if you want to support and help my channel grow, that's how we got to do it. And I hope you were blessed with anything you received. The message was rich. Be like Job, be like Nathaniel. You know, once your flesh starts to question God, let your heart turn back to Him. And I promise you, it's written in the book. He has a promise for your life. And trust God. Whatever you do and all that you do and all that happens to you, trust God. And that's all I got. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.